It's the D followed by 3 E's. The signature sound that can be heard throughout this city, where every last person knows the word that completes the call. From the blacktop to the block, this is the sound that brings us together. It raises us to another level. It unites us. Inspires other kids to pick up a ball and other fans to wear the paint. This is our rallying cry. And here is where we share love for our team and our city. Together, we wear it and say it proudly. The D with 3 E's. And you know the word that completes the call.
And welcome into Views from the Sideline, October 1st, 2019. I am your host, Chris Pappas. Alongside me, it's Joey Tysick and Malik Hill. If you're wondering why I just played a Pistons video, because training camp opened today, the 2019 season has begun, and I'm hyped for some Piston basketball. I think they're going to do something this year. By something, I mean maybe win a playoff game. So welcome in, Joey, Malik. How you guys doing today?
We get to watch D-Rose and ISO Joe in Pistons uniforms.
With Blake.
It's going to be fun to watch. Not going to win, but
they'll win, just nothing
they won't.
significant.
Yeah, nothing meaningful. But
if they win a playoff series, I think it's you can
might have to catch a few games.
The one stat I always like to keep track of: Derrick Rose is younger than Steph Curry.
Wow. Is he really?
People forget about that.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. It threw me off too, but
that is something you don't think about, I guess. All the stuff that D Rose, he's gone through so much, it makes you think he's so much farther down in his career. And he said at Media Day yesterday that he sees something in this team. He's excited. He wants to be more vocal as a leader. I'm really excited to see what Derrick can bring to this team. I think it's going to be another dimension that will help this team tremendously. And I think you're going to see Derrick finish games.
Anything to replace Reggie.
I think Reggie's going to surprise again. I think he's going to surprise some people this year as well because he's healthy. He had no injuries in the offseason. He's been training. He got better throughout last year. I think we're going to see the best Reggie Jackson we've seen since 2016.
Now that you just said that, I have a thought that it could be possible because I think he's going to be annoyed from the start that everybody's going to be cheering for D-Rose to be the point guard. And he's going to be like, all right,
Johnny. It's like pushing Stafford. If you brought in a quarterback to put, it's like you're pushing him.
He's going to be like, all right, or he's going to start playing hero ball.
Never
mind.
Never mind. I'm going to go with the hero ball because I don't know if Reggie's that kind of mentality guy.
We'll see.
But yeah, so I'm excited. If we have time at the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit of Pistons. If not, we'll save it for we're going to do a huge NBA preview show right before the season starts. So look forward to that. We'll give you more details at the end of this one, let you know when that's happening so you can plan accordingly. Let's jump right into it. Kind of usual show for us today. We're going to start college football like we usually do. Got to start with Michigan because Malik's not in a terrible mood today. The Scarlet Knights did not beat the Wolverines.
Not even close.
Michigan beat them 52-0. They bounced back. Malik, confidence check. How you feeling?
I'm pretty even keel right now. I'm not really swaying like negatively or overly positive. If it was a 1 to 10, I'm kind of I'm at a 5 right now. Just
fair.
At a 5.
Fair.
However, getting near 6 because there were
5.6.
I'll give it a 5.5. Yeah.
Okay.
There were some positives out of this game, although it was Rutgers, but this was the blowout win they needed to have. I felt like it would be closer because I felt like they were just searching for answers and they wouldn't be able to find them even in this game. But they made Rutgers look like the poor team that they are. Shea Patterson played a lot better in this game. I'm still not extremely confident in him being the guy that can win big games for Michigan, but we'll see how that goes. Josh Gaddis was on the sideline this game, and it did wonders for that offense. I really like him coming out of the booth and coming down there, being vocal with the guys.
Was it Gaddis
coming?
Sorry to cut you off, but was it Gaddis coming down from the booth, or was it Michigan playing Rutgers?
I think it was a mix of both. I think him coming down, and the players and him have said in the past week that there's been a disconnect in the offense, like running the plays and getting the calls down, and him being on the sidelines, being able to be face to face with them after every offensive drive does wonders for those guys. You see when he comes up to those receivers after each drive, when he's talking to the quarterbacks, they can have constant conversation and dialogue of what's happening on the field, and I think it really helps him being out there. Also,
So why do you think you would go back up in the booth? It's shown it's such a benefit.
well, I don't know if I'm not sure if he's going to go back up because everybody has seen the positive of him being on the sideline now. So I'm hoping he doesn't go back up there. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll be on the sideline for the rest of the season. But also, I think it was a positive seeing the play from the young guys. Daxton Hill, the top recruit they had coming into the season, he was the number 1 safety in the country. He picked Michigan over Alabama. His talent is showing through, and it showed through in this game. He's easily the fastest player on the defense. He hits hard. He has great instincts. He made a lot of great plays. He made a great hit on special teams. He was making great plays. And then they had guys like Mozzie Smith and Chris Hinton, other highly recruited young guys getting in there. Joe Milton is the backup for now because Dylan McCaffrey is hurt. So he got his first touchdown pass of his career. He also had a run. He looked comfortable out there. He was throwing some absolute heaters. I mean, his arm is ridiculous. So
His arm is fun to watch.
yeah, just a lot of positives. They held him out. They didn't give him any points. That was good to see. The defense looked so much better than they did in Wisconsin. They looked confident. They looked like they knew exactly where they needed to go and what plays they needed to make. And they weren't hesitant. They ran to the ball. They made plays when they needed to, and they got it done. So even though it was Rutgers, I'm happy they did what a really good team is supposed to do. Not give a bad team any chance in the game. 52-0. They never had a chance.
Joey, anything you want to add on to what Malik's saying?
No, not really. It's just kind of a hopefully get back on pace game for Michigan. They did what they were supposed to do. They didn't let Rutgers score, which I was like happy about because I thought there might be a chance that Rutgers puts up a couple points and that'd be concerning to me. But shutting them out 52-0, I think, is exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah. Also, Cameron McGrone got his first start at I can't remember if it's middle linebacker or outside linebacker, but he was one of the most highly recruited guys in the class from a few years ago. He's really fast. He hit Art Sikowski a whole bunch and just messed up their rhythm on offense. Hopefully he starts for the rest of the season. A lot of positives from that.
Now, going into this coming weekend, Michigan stays at home. They're playing Iowa. It's a big game. You said pre-show that this is a tough game for Michigan. What does your average college football fan need to know going into this one for this Michigan-Iowa matchup?
Well, after Wisconsin, at this point, Iowa is the best team in the Big Ten West. They're not a team to sleep on. They will scare you if you take them lightly. They're not overly explosive. Iowa's never been that type of team. They're tough. They make big plays when they need to. Nate Stanley has been consistent for them for the past few years. He's going to be an NFL quarterback. They got some talented receivers and a really tough, surprisingly athletic, sneaky athletic defense that makes a lot of plays when they need to. So this is the type of game Michigan needs to win. 2 undefeated teams, probably the best game in the Big Ten this weekend. The game being in Ann Arbor is a really good thing for Michigan. They have never really had consistently playing. They've never had consistency playing well in Iowa City, playing against Iowa. So, yeah, this game being at home is huge. Michigan still needs to get the running game going, and it's not going to be easy against a tough, hard-nosed front seven of Iowa. Shea Patterson needs to get it going early. Last week versus Rutgers, they got it going to Nico Collins early. He had the first touchdown of the game. They need to do that more, get those big athletic receivers going, make plays, and yeah, just don't be boring. Call some interesting things. Do trick plays if you have to. Get those big guys on the outside open, or even if they're not open, throw it up to them. Have them just go and try to make plays. Get them some confidence, and the defense just needs to be tough and strong throughout the whole game. It'll be a long game.
The defense needs to be excited that they don't have to worry about T.J. Hawkinson or Noah Fant.
Yeah.
That those are both pro tight ends.
Even
now.
though I won't be surprised if they pull out another tight end out of nowhere,
That's
because
true.
yeah, they keep them every year or two. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Moving on, MSU played Indiana this weekend. They beat them 48-31. And what you guys said, I didn't catch it, but you said it was a closer game, maybe closer than you expected. But they got the job done. Is there any kind of concerning results from this one heading into the big matchup against OSU this weekend?
They let Indiana score 31.
Yeah.
And Indiana should have had 38, but they missed on a huge pass play that was open, but it was a slight overthrow. So Indiana could have potentially had 38 points and could have won that game. So the defense showed some holes. If a team is willing to open it up and throw it deep on them, which teams have shown in the past few years, like Utah State last year, if you have a dynamic quarterback that can run out, make time when the line breaks down, find open receivers, you can somewhat find those holes in MSU's defense. And also they had a pretty good game from their running back too. So even though it was good for them to pull out a game like this, you won't expect Michigan State to do this consistently on the offensive side, especially against a team like Ohio State, who has completely picked it up on the defensive side, and they're ridiculous on offense. This is one of the best offensive Ohio State teams in the past 20 years. They don't have many flaws, and you can't make many mistakes against Ohio State. And with that game being at Ohio State, I don't see a chance for Michigan State to win this one.
Joey, what's your mindset going into this one as a Spartan fan? And you're coming off a game which maybe you should have performed a little bit better, and you're going into probably the biggest game of the year against Ohio State in Columbus.
I think it's one of those games where you just have to go into it not thinking about the outcome, because everybody thinks that you're going to lose, even myself included. But I think you just have to go into it and just play your heart out. You got to try your best and just live with it. And you got to try to be competitive. You don't necessarily have to win this game, just because I don't think that's Michigan State this year. But if they can show that they're competitive, that they can play with this kind of team, then that would be good moving forward in the season, as they have some tough matchups against Wisconsin, and they have their bye week and then Penn State. So they have a really tough schedule, but if they can show that they can compete with Ohio State, then maybe they can beat some of those other teams down the line and, sneak their way into some decent bowl game. But I think the only way that they can really win this game is they have to completely shut down Ohio State's run game, which is already hard enough in itself, but that's where Michigan State's defense excels. It's really hard to shut down J.K. Dobbins. Last week he ran for almost 200 yards. The only thing that I would say, too, is that Ohio State, I don't think Justin Fields, in my opinion, is as scary throwing the ball as Dwayne Haskins was last year.
But
Because
he's getting there.
Right. But he's more of a dual threat. So I would say just thinking about it, the best option is to contain him, keep him back in the pocket, force him to throw a little bit, try to put pressure on him, and slow J.K. Dobbins down as best you can. Obviously, those are all tall tasks, but I think that's the only winning formula that they can have. And you just have to, if Ohio State beats you, have them beat you through the air.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say.
They almost have to do what they did in 2015 when Michigan State went into Columbus with, I can't even remember who the quarterbacks were. I think it was Messiah DeWeaver and was it O'Connor? Was that
It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they had some backups playing quarterback, and they pretty much, their defense held it down. Mark D'Antonio outcoached Urban Meyer, and they ended up winning on a field goal, and they shocked the country that night. But this isn't Urban Meyer. Ryan Day has a team that is absolutely rolling right now. I don't think Ryan Day is going to make any weird decisions like Urban Meyer did that day in 2015. They're going to keep on doing what they've been doing. When Justin Fields doesn't see anything open, he's going to take off running, and stopping him running is hard. But when he has time to find an open receiver, he's going to hit them, and he's going to be accurate. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the game plan is going to be for D'Antonio. I honestly think this is going to be a game where he really pisses off fans, because I think he's going to just keep beating the dead horse. He's going to keep trying to do the same thing. We're going to run it up the middle. We're going to try play action. They're not really going to work. but we're gonna keep doing it because I'm D'Antonio and you need to shut up. I'm the coach.
Yeah,
I make the plays. I know what I'm doing. All of you, be quiet.
and this will be one of those games too where I'm sure he'll have one of those Sean Payton, D'Antonio 4th down situations where he'll go for it because of how big this game is.
He needs to completely open up the playbook and do some crazy stuff in this game.
Yeah,
But
agree.
I'm not sure if he will.
The only nice thing that we saw last week against Indiana was Lewerke had a good connection with Darryl Stewart Jr. Finally having like kind of a number 1 receiver, I think. And then Lewerke was able to do a lot of work on the ground. He led the team in rushing yards last week, which is interesting. It makes teams have to think about it a little bit more, which is nice. And I think that also helps that, Elijah Collins has really stepped up as the number 1 back in this team. So if they can kind of do that and shake things up a bit, there's a chance. I'm not saying it's a big chance, but there's a chance. And they're going to have to win it defensively.
I was just going to ask, is there any chance that Michigan State pulls out this upset? You say there's a chance.
Yeah.
Malik?
After what they just showed against Indiana, I don't really think there's a chance because you can't show holes going into the Ohio State game with like you play Indiana, and no, I don't see it.
Anything else in college football you guys want to touch on before we go to the pros?
It was a lot of boring games this week, but there was also some interesting stuff that happened. North Carolina almost beat Clemson, which would have been the upset of
the year.
Yeah, the year and maybe of the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost 21-20, and them going for 2 to try to just win the game. I don't blame them for that.
I was gonna say, do you agree with that call? Because
I 100% agree with that call.
Yeah, I
not,
think that
when is the next time like you got in this
Right.
position? No one expected you to be here.
They had all the momentum.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I think the play call they made, like the speed option,
No,
with
but
Sam Howell, wasn't
idea.
very good. But yeah, the idea, I was completely for it.
Yeah.
Mac Brown is doing wonders for them in this first season.
was that the play to? I can't getting all my football games messed up, but is that the play? It was like a read option. Was it like an option play?
It wasn't a read option, but it was more of a speed option where quarterback got out of the shotgun, him and the running back just took off to the right.
Okay.
But it looked like Clemson like sniffed it out from the beginning, and they were on him from the start. But yeah, this is the thing with Clemson. Everybody knew this year. Everybody knew they were gonna get bored because the ACC competition is not enough for them. So I don't know if there will be another game like this season.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to get it together because they can't just walk into games and they need to be like Ohio State, Alabama. They need to go in and punch teams in the mouth
Right.
and not act like,
blow
yeah,
'em
this
out.
is the ACC. We're going to win anyway. No. You have Trevor Lawrence. You have the most talented receiving core in the country besides Alabama. You need to just embarrass teams and make sure people see you're the best team in the country.
Right.
But yeah, besides that, Oklahoma, offensive explosion once again. Jalen Hurts putting up crazy numbers. Alabama blows out Ole Miss, crazy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Smith, 11 catches for over 230 yards and 5 touchdowns. Video game NCAA 14 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
He had an absolute day. And yeah, just a really good teams winning the games they're supposed to win. Auburn blew up Mississippi State. Bo Nix is looking like the 5-star recruit he was. Yeah, just some usual things happening.
But it's about to pick up because we're gonna get all their conference play, especially for Big Ten fans. We're gonna have some big games coming up in these next couple weeks, like we're talking about.
Exactly.
So it'll be good.
All right, let's move on to the NFL. Thursday night football. It was actually really good this week. Philadelphia at Green Bay. Philly won this one 34-27. There was kind of a lot on the line. It was kind of a must-win game for Philly. You start the season 1-3, and you kind of know if you're a playoff team or if you're not a playoff team. It's kind of that swing factor early on in the year. Eagles won in Lambeau. What was your take from this one, guys? Because this was actually a really fun one. I think Carson Wentz showed a lot of leadership in this one.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, even though he just had 160 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, he was poised in the pocket.
Kept his guys calm, cool, and collected.
Every time it broke down, we know that he has the athleticism and the strength to break away from tackles, arm tackles, and run out when things break down. So having Alshon Jeffrey in there, even though he's not fully healthy yet, having Alshon Jeffrey clearly helped. He made catches when he needed to. His young guys didn't have all those drops. They made catches when they needed to. The run game was working, and the defense stepped up every time they had to. Whenever Green Bay got down to the goal line And Matt LaFleur, first year head coach, he was throwing on 3 and 4 straight downs. Sometimes when he needed to run the ball, he was trusting in Aaron Rodgers, which you trust in Aaron Rodgers most of the time. But you need to run the ball sometimes. You can't just pass. The Eagles know what's coming. It led to an interception on the very last drive. It led to some 3 and outs, 4 and outs that just led to field goals. So Matt LaFleur has some growing to do as a coach, and the Eagles got a much needed win. That really helped. I think it's gonna be a spark for them in the next few weeks. I think Carson Wentz was really good.
And I think it kind of killed the Green Bay hype as well. I think a lot of people were starting to think that Green Bay was going to be like the team to beat in the NFC North and maybe the surprise team in the league this year, just because they had won their first 3 games off of defense. And I think when Philadelphia came in there, and Philadelphia has shown no run game whatsoever all year long, and they just ran all over Green Bay.
We knew they had the talent. They just haven't been able to consistently establish who are your guys that you're going to go to.
And I think that we kind of found out that, Green Bay might not be the real deal, that it was not necessarily a fluke, but a little bit of a fluke, especially because Aaron Rodgers had one of his better games
Exactly.
in this one, and they didn't get it done. So I think that gives a little bit of hope for teams like the Lions, that, Green Bay is not untouchable this year.
Titans at Falcons. Titans beat them 24-10, kind of handily.
Falcons problems.
Yeah, this team, they have, like we talk about week in and week out, they have so much talent.
For years, it's been this way.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's just like, where do you go if you're the Falcons front office from here? Do you just break it up?
Honestly,
You go with another coach. You go with a coaching change.
I'm not sure what you do, to be honest.
Because you have so much talent.
Maybe you get a new offensive coordinator, but every other year it's the problem of injuries and O-line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's either young guys on the O-line that are inconsistent.
I will say Devontae Freeman
can't
doesn't
protect
look like
Matt
himself
Ryan.
this year, though.
He doesn't. Ito Smith is producing more, which
Yeah.
that's not good for them, which is part of the problem why he can't consistently get it to one of the best receiving corps in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Keanu Neal's out for the season, they always have, it's like unlucky. They always have injuries to their best players when they need guys to step up, when it looks like they're going to be a really good playoff team. And then whenever that O-line is inconsistent for Matt Ryan, when he doesn't have time back there, he's not a guy that's going to break out like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, that's going to break outside the pocket or run
Lamar
up and
Jackson.
have a whole bunch of time to make a play. He needs to make quick passing plays or have enough good blocking to make a really good deep passing play. And if he doesn't have that, this is what happens for the Falcons. And I'll keep saying this. Whenever you make Marcus Mariota look really good, there are problems. Marcus is an average quarterback, and he's going to have his good games against bad teams and average teams. Teams are making him look really good this season so far. Yeah. Good win for the Titans, though.
Yeah.
Good win for them.
Browns Ravens. This was a shocker to me. I thought the Ravens were going to win this one. Browns had a really good game on the road. Baker played extremely well. Nick Chubb played extremely well. The Browns won 40-25. Seems like they're starting to right the ship a little bit. They got Monday Night Football this week against the undefeated 49ers. We'll talk about that more when we get to our picks. But Joey, what did you see from the Browns this week? Maybe is it giving you, maybe I won't say hope because you're not a Browns fan, but maybe does it look like they're turning it around?
I wouldn't say so yet. I think
because Baltimore's no slouch of an opponent.
Right, but I think we saw some holes in Baltimore's defense that we didn't necessarily expect. The Browns just were able to do whatever they wanted, especially running the ball. Jarvis Landry had a big game, and Baltimore completely shut out Odell Beckham Jr., and
it didn't matter.
So I think Baltimore's defense has a lot of questions, but obviously, Cleveland stepped up to the plate. They did well. I don't think Baker's numbers looked pretty good, but I don't think he necessarily did anything special. He just played a lot better than he has, and that's really not saying a whole lot. But Nick Chubb being able to get holes and big gaps, that there has to be a little bit of credit with the offensive line there. Like I said, I think Baltimore's defense played bad, but Cleveland offensive line definitely stepped up in this game.
We've been talking crap about the Cleveland offensive line all year too.
And I definitely think they did step up in this game to get that. So I don't know. I mean, it definitely makes the division a lot more interesting. I don't think Baltimore can just run away with it now.
Yeah.
And I think for Baltimore, that should be an eye opener that Cleveland is still here. That they're not going to just.
It kind of seemed like a revenge game from last year for the Browns.
I mean, and it's nice to see too that Cleveland didn't just straight up like this could have been the game where Cleveland just fell apart and it'd be their breaking point, and then all the drama starts to happen.
Yep.
And they could just fall into nothingness. But they came back, they bounced back, and it was a good game. It was kind of fun to watch, but as a Baltimore fan, it was a little disappointing.
Yeah, Cleveland's won their first 2 road games of the season for the first time since 1994. That says a lot. Moving on, Patriots at Bills. The Bills are no longer undefeated. The Patriots won 16-10. The Bills were in it. It was a great atmosphere in Buffalo. Kind of everything you expect from a Buffalo Bills game. A great game. A great Bills game. Brady now 16-2 in career starts at the New Era Field. What'd you guys see from this one? Did you think the Bills were going to pull it out in the end?
Listen, I had a feeling they would be close in it because it was in Buffalo, because they're 3-0, the atmosphere, they're a solid team. All Josh Allen had to do was have
a decent
average game. That's all he had to do, and he pulled out a Nathan Peterman style game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you bring up
before
Nathan
he got
Peterman
hurt.
on the show.
I mean, 3 picks before he got hurt. I think less than 100 yards. Did he have over 100?
I don't think so at the time.
But he was he just was not good at all. And against that New England defensive backfield, I'm not surprised that a second-year QB that's really still raw would have those type of problems. So I'm not going to put it all on him. But yeah, even when Matt Barkley came in, he's average, below average backup. He played okay, but yeah, they never had a guy that can make a play for them when they needed to. It was 16-10. 1 more touchdown. That's all they needed, 1 more score. And they could have beaten the Patriots. And that could have been one of the biggest wins for the Browns in the past 15, 20 years maybe, if they figured out a way to win that game. But, hey, man, New England, they figure it out. They always figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't remember what year it was. It was a couple of years ago that the Bills, they beat the Patriots in a similar fashion on like a interception return for a touchdown or something at the end of the game. That was a couple years ago.
It was probably a Ryan Fitzpatrick year.
It was.
Yeah.
Because I remember the header was Fitzmagic. But yeah, Buffalo looked pretty good. I think their defense is solid. And, Frank Gore had a solid game.
Congrats to him.
The ageless,
4th all time.
The ageless wonder. He's up there with Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, and Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
And then there's Frank Gore. That's crazy to talk
Nuts,
about. Granted, Frank Gore's been in the league a lot longer than most of those guys were, but it's still impressive either way. I think this Buffalo team is going to be competitive throughout the whole season, and people are going to have to watch out for them.
Next up, Joey, Chiefs
Oh, no.
and the Lions. Chiefs won 34-30 in Detroit in what was a great game for the Lions. They were undermanned. It seemed like they're going to pull it out, but the Chiefs end up stealing this one from Detroit. Really, it was stealing it. Lions kind of gave this one away at the end, unfortunately. Yes, there was a missed call, a couple missed calls. Can't blame the refs. They shouldn't have gotten to that position like we talked about in our pre-show meeting.
Fumbles on back-to-back possessions.
Exactly. I'm going to go to you first, Joe. Confidence meter for this team, because yes, they did lose, but they were undermanned playing against an undefeated team, and the Chiefs are not just a slouch of an undefeated team. Does this give you maybe a boost of confidence heading into next week?
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks, because they're on a bye.
Right. The problem was that this could have been their best performance of the year.
This could have been their best performance in some years.
Yeah, and it would have been incredible for this to be pulled off. And I hope that they're going to take this and have a chip on their shoulder. This team seems like that's how they'll treat it, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm hoping that they use this to fuel themselves, because the next time that we get to see the Lions is going to be on Monday Night Football. National audience. They need to perform. They need to be able to put themselves on the map.
Are they playing the Packers?
They're playing the Packers on Monday night in 2 weeks.
Big game.
So if they can
If
play
you beat the Packers
at Lambeau
at
Monday
Lambeau
night,
on Monday night, the
That'll show a
Lions
lot.
are. I will open the conversation that they could win the division.
the Lions are on notice.
If they lose, This is to me that game is an open
Yeah.
or shut
It
for
is
the
now,
division.
yeah.
It's
if
a
they
very-
win, the door's open. They lose,
It's a big
maybe wild.
It's a big
card.
swing game because they play Green Bay and then they play Minnesota right after that. So the resiliency in this game, a lot of people have been talking about that about the Lions. The resiliency to come back after each mistake that they made, forcing turnovers for Kansas City. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes was just off in this game. Maybe it is.
And he still had an okay game.
Yeah.
When he was off, he wasn't like bad.
Right. I mean, he didn't throw any touchdowns, so that's pretty crazy. The big problem for me too was like they had the 4th and 8, and they blew the coverage, let Patrick Mahomes get the first down. There's a couple little things late in the game that on that final drive that was a little upsetting. But overall, the team looked good. Carry-on looked really good. Kenny Golladay looked really good. Matthew Stafford finally looked good. And it was just a complete performance. And like you said, most of the secondary was depleted. We didn't have Darius Slay.
Even the injuries in this game were heartbreaking.
Quandre Diggs went
Hawkinson
down.
going out with
Mhm.
that phantom hurdle.
That was kind of his fault, though.
Yeah, Glover Quinn going out.
There was a lot of bad injuries. It stunk. But I don't think the injuries really mattered in this game. It mostly came down to the offense and stuff for the most part. But yeah, it was definitely exciting to watch. Really wish they would have pulled it off. But hopefully, like I said, they'll take this and they'll use it as fuel to play. Because they just played their toughest opponent. And their schedule isn't easy, but they just played their toughest opponent and had a chance to win.
It all of a sudden looks like when the defensive backs get healthy, it looks like they could have one of the best secondaries in the NFL.
They did
Now,
really.
after this performance yesterday, I didn't think Justin Coleman was going to live up to
Yeah.
what he did yesterday. I
Mhm.
mean, that was one of the best single DB performances I've seen this season.
He definitely got his money's worth right there in that game. The other thing that I really like too is that the front line was able to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes all game.
I don't. Did they ever get a sack though?
Uh,
It was kind of bothering me that they never were able to get to him. They
Did
pressured him a few times, but I don't think they sacked
did
him.
did Ashawn Robinson get a sack or did he get a fumble recovery?
He got a fumble recovery. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if they got a sack in this game or not, but I know like Devin Kennard has been so good this year, and he was right at Patrick Mahomes multiple times. There was a lot of quarterback rushes and stuff, which is nice to see to be able to get pressure.
Next up, Panthers at Texans. Kyle Allen gets another win for the Carolina Panthers, 16-10 in Houston. Who's riding the Kyle Allen bandwagon? Anyone.
Not me.
Well, he actually had a really bad game,
But
yeah.
he won.
I will not jump on that bandwagon. But to me, this game is more about the Texans to me, because this is becoming a problem. Deshaun Watson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And yeah, credit to the Panthers defense. They were disguising things and switching up.
But I think we maybe need a
switching up
little bit of an
defenses.
offensive coordinator switch up here. I don't
Maybe.
know.
I also think it might be time for Bill O'Brien.
You think?
Yeah, get out. Yeah, I think his time has come up. Now that J.J. Watt is coming to the end of his thing, Jadeveon Clowney is gone.
Time to start fresh.
Yeah, that defense isn't looking like what it is. You might need a more offensive mind to come in.
Yeah.
But Christian McCaffrey did what he usually does. Really good catches, running tough. Yeah, that Panther defense deserves a lot of credit with those young guys, and the mix of young guys and experienced guys they have playing really well. But that Texans offense, they got to get it together, and I don't know how they will with the inconsistency of the offensive line and Deshaun Watson's weapons being hurt sometimes. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Good win for the Panthers.
Raiders at Colts. The Colts lost 31-24. Kind of surprised. I thought the Colts would have won this one. Now I don't know. I didn't see this one. I didn't catch this one. Just maybe a little bit more of an upset. Didn't really think Oakland was going to pull this one off.
It definitely is an upset, and I am kind of surprised about how well they're playing for John Gruden right now. It seems like they really are buying into what he's telling them in the system they have. Derek Carr is playing well. He's not making any crazy mistakes. Josh Jacobs is looking really good as a rookie running back. Darren Waller is emerging as a pretty good tight end.
I would argue he's a top 5 tight end right now.
He at this moment,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on this day.
Right.
Yeah. Hunter Renfrow is starting to get started as a rookie slot receiver. Their defense is playing tough. I mean, that move to Vegas might not be as weird and bad as we think it might be. If they keep making good decisions when it comes to trades and getting these young picks that seem to be working out. Abraham looked really good before he had that season-ending injury. That really sucked for them. But this is going to be a team you can't sleep on. The Raiders are going to play hard this whole season, and that's a good thing to see for that fan base.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see because, I think a lot of people still wonder what if Antonio Brown was on this team. And
man.
Just giving them an extra weapon, especially with the emergence of Tyrell Williams on the outside as a deep threat. And then, like you said, Hunter Renfrow getting a slot. Antonio Brown would have fit perfectly in that receiving core. But another big thing I think in this game, too, is the Colts were pretty depleted on the offensive side. T.Y. Hilton didn't play in this game. Jack Doyle went out with a head injury, which we'll talk about in a second. So I think the Colts were a little bit down. Marlon Mack just couldn't do anything in this game, which was weird. And they usually have to get their game going on the ground. So hats off to Oakland, I guess. But Vontaze Burfict got a season-long suspension for that hit on Jack Doyle. He went helmet to helmet, definitely targeted, and there was no point of it. It was purely relentless.
I was gonna say, do you think that was the appropriate?
Yeah,
100%.
And I think they should discuss a longer time or
exactly. There are some people that think he should be suspended for even longer.
Yeah, they think indefinite suspension. I agree with that he has to prove himself some way to get back in the league. But funny enough, similar to I believe it was Rex Ryan who said it on ESPN, the guy's just no good. He's not good anymore. He used to be a pretty solid player, but at this point in his career, he's just made a name for himself at dirty play. And he's trying to get himself in the news, I guess. I don't know. So I don't think the NFL loses anything by losing him in the game. So to me, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I can't wait till more comes out about this story. I want to get a Vontaze Burfict interview or something because it really almost makes no sense about why he keeps doing this. Like, from teammates, from coaches, from old players that have met him, everybody says he's one of the nicest guys.
Once
They've
you
met,
get
like,
between those lines, though, I mean, sometimes
everybody
it's a different
says
mentality.
he's a great teammate. He does whatever coaches tell him to do. But when he gets on it's like he just has an impulse problem or something.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't help himself for some reason. It's
Right.
so weird that something in his mind tells him that he has to be the nastiest, like, most, like, feared, scariest thing on the field. And to do that, you have to, like, almost just go for people's heads. He basically goes by going for people's heads. And in today's game, you can't play doing that.
No, and you're not going to play long doing that.
Exactly.
Moving on, Chargers at the Dolphins. Nothing to talk about here. Chargers took care of business. They won 30-10.
Dolphins took an early lead in this game.
Yeah. Josh Rosen, when they give him time,
He has nothing
looking
around him.
comfortable.
Well, here's the thing. Josh Rosen has absolutely
he
nothing.
has a few pieces of talent in the receiving core.
That's being generous.
A few.
That's being generous.
Devontae Parker is good. The young kid.
The O-line is
the young
terrible, first of all.
It's
How does
That's
Josh
an
even have
understatement.
time to even
Yeah.
look at his receivers running
exactly.
routes?
The
I mean,
fact
that's
that
an
he can,
issue.
the fact that he can throw passing touchdowns
Is
with that
impressive in
offense.
itself.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe down the road this will help Rosen throughout his career because once he actually gets behind an offensive line that doesn't get plowed through in the first 2 seconds, he will actually see the talent that he has.
Exactly.
But
He's almost been through it all as a second-year quarterback.
Yeah.
He's
he
going
really,
through the
yeah,
absolute ringer.
completely agree.
And they can't even get their running game going. Like Kenyon Drake.
They have
is
to
a-
throw it to Kenyon Drake
Kenyon-
for him to get yards.
Kenyon Drake is a solid running back in the league, and he can't do anything. And I think the biggest problem though with the Dolphins is that you're going to see Josh Rosen's career possibly be ruined with this team because everybody's already calling that they're going to be in the Tua conversation, and then that puts Josh Rosen in another situation that he was in last year. Does he get traded? Is he just going to ride the bench for some team? It kind of stinks for him,
I hope at this point they I hope if he shows the toughness and plays somewhat well throughout the rest of the season, because you can't play really good with this team. If he plays somewhat well for the rest of the season, start getting talent around him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're gonna have the 1 or 2 pick. Jerry Jeudy is gonna be there. There's gonna be a whole bunch of offensive talent in that first round, and then go O-line. Like, put talent around him if he shows the toughness to last with these guys.
Giants. Daniel Jones, is he in the greatest of all time discussion yet, or is that too much? Okay, I digress.
He beat the Washington Redskins.
They won 24-3. Giants have won 2 straight games. Giants Nation's going crazy. I'm happy for him. Great for Daniel Jones to have success early on.
He's in the argument for greatest start as a Giants quarterback. He's
mean,
in that argument.
When he won his first 2 career starts, first time a Giants rookie quarterback has done that since '97. So, definitely good stuff from the Giants. They have probably, we talked about pre-show, a swing game this weekend.
Yeah.
That will maybe make it or break it for the rest of the season. We'll see. But good for them. Happy to see you benched Eli, who clearly doesn't have it anymore, for the rookie that needs time to develop, and you're seeing the benefits of it. So maybe the front office won't take so long to make those decisions in the future. Moving on.
Jay Gruden, please come on, Redskins, fire him.
But on the flip side, too, you saw what can also happen when Washington played Dwayne Haskins when he wasn't ready.
Exactly.
So it was a really interesting game in that sense.
Yeah. Seahawks at the Cardinals. Seahawks demolished them 27-10. Larry Fitzgerald, second most receptions in NFL history. Shout out to Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes, sir.
Can't believe he is still in the NFL, putting in work. I mean, you saw it in week 1 against the Lions, the crazy catches that guy had. So, shout out to Larry Fitzgerald. That's the only thing to root for on that Cardinals team. That and Kyler Murray, I guess. But
Russell Wilson is my fantasy quarterback. Good game, Russell.
Moving on. Buccaneers put up 55 points. Wow. Tampa Bay won 55-40 in LA. Rams no longer undefeated. I personally didn't watch this game. Malik, did you catch this one?
I've watched the highlights of the game.
How
at
did they
least
put
3
up
times
54?
now.
How did Jameis play
listen.
pretty well?
Oh, yeah.
He played phenomenal.
He
He only
played
had
real well.
like 9 incompletions. He threw for over like 350 and 4 touchdowns.
Mhm. Almost 400 yards.
Bruce Arians is doing what Dirk Cutter couldn't. And Dirk Cutter made the worst mistake possible, which was he went with the strategy of, Jameis, I'm going to let you do you. We're going to go deep every 3 or 4 plays. We're going to get Deshaun Jackson. We're going to let you roll out and try to make as many plays as possible. Jameis, we trust you with this offense. That is not what you do with Jameis Winston. Bruce Arians has his great track record with quarterbacks. He is making Jameis stick within a system, make short, accurate throws, short to intermediate, whether it's 5 yards, 15 yards. We run the ball, get it established with Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones. Then go play action. You're going to get a few open, deep plays with that. Jameis's confidence grows through those first 8 or 9 passes going short to intermediate. Then the deep throws seem like nothing when the guys get open. You got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, a really good 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are going to get open. They're really good route runners with great hands. I mean, they're doing exactly what you need to do for Jameis Winston. Put a specific system with him. Very quick throws. Don't let him look around, run around, try to make those crazy, wild, deep throws. Short passes, accurate passes. Then you develop it from there.
Get into a rhythm.
Yeah, later in the game, once he was in a rhythm, those deep throws seemed like nothing. He was hitting them accurately. He was hitting Godwin and Mike Evans over the middle, 20, 30 yards. He was comfortable and confident. This is what you're supposed to do with a guy like Jameis, who has a ton of talent, but is very erratic. Bruce Arians is getting it done. And Buccaneers fans should be happy about this. Yeah.
And I think this is also a game where Sean McVay needs to go back to the drawing board a little bit.
Yeah.
The Rams.
Jared Goff is looking sketchy.
The Rams have not looked very good overall. Jared Goff threw the ball 68 times in this game, which almost set an NFL record or
3
something.
picks.
I mean, yeah, he got it to his receivers pretty well, but they had to throw the ball a lot, and I think that's I think they need to start opening up Todd Gurley a little bit. I think they're playing a little too conservative with him.
Not only do you have Todd Gurley, but you have a rookie quarterback, and I forgot his name, but rookie running back from Memphis, who's very electric.
Darrell
Also,
Henderson.
Darrell Henderson.
Mhm.
You have some guys that you should just give it to. I think he's doing.
We saw Malcolm
he's doing
Brown
too
in week
much.
1.
Exactly. I think McVay's is doing too much so far.
Yeah, I think they're trying too hard. They're trying to do too many conservative things, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Jared Goff. I think that is unnecessary at the moment, and it's a little concerning because to let Tampa Bay put 55 on you. Not that Tampa Bay is all that bad, but they're not all that great either. So
Bears are back. They won 16-6 against the Vikings at home. Adam Thielen, I'm reading a stat
2 catches,
here.
6 yards.
2 catches, 6 yards.
He wasn't happy after that game either.
My
In that post game
gosh.
interview,
Yeah.
he's very upset with that coaching staff.
Holy cow. But yeah, Bears are back. Interesting to see if they stay as kind of the class of the division with the Packers or if the Lions can jump into that. Jaguars beat the Broncos 26-24. Leonard Fournette, 225 rushing yards. He's been a surprise to me this year. I mean, I knew he was going to be good. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he has been. I mean, even from last year, I thought Leonard was kind of overrated, overhyped. But this year, he's been tremendous.
He's always had the talent. He's
putting it together.
He always takes himself out of the game. Whether it's fighting with fans in the crowd, whether it's fighting with coaches, he always takes himself out mentally and can't get into being the running back he is.
If they had a healthy Nick Foles, this team could be.
Amen.
Whoa, Gardner Minshew, man.
They have a healthy Gardner Minshew.
Gardner's.
They got Uncle Rico back there at quarterback, Chris.
True,
Yeah.
true. What am I saying? What am I saying?
You know Uncle Rico's track record. He can
You're
throw a
right.
football over a mountain.
You
Come
are
on.
right. I take that back.
They played
Never
in the
mind.
mountains of.
You're right.
You see the correlation?
I apologize.
I also think that this was a good game for Denver, even though they lost. I think Denver could surprise some people. I think, again, Joe Flacco, not a bad quarterback.
I do not. I think they won't surprise people because of Joe Flacco. I think his immobility is really starting. It's a part of the game that's starting to go away.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks like him are starting to fade away. Where
Mhm.
it's 3-5 drop back, 3 or 5 foot drop back, and just it's not going well. It's not going well.
Next up, Saints beat the Cowboys in an absolute shootout, 12-10. Saints won without scoring a touchdown, first time since '98. So both teams 3-1. And then the Monday night game, like we said, snooze fest of the week. Steelers won 27-3. Just
Bengals are bad.
yeah.
And the Steelers pulled
They're
out
really
all the
bad.
stops in this game. They had Jalen Samuels throw, I think, 3 passes in this game.
They had a whole
did
bunch
some-
of jet sweeps because the regular running game couldn't really get
Yeah,
going.
they did some
And
weird
it was working.
wildcat type formations and stuff like that. But Cincinnati is bad.
Very bad. Mason Rudolph got comfortable and made some really good throws, so I'm happy to see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time again. NFL picks week 5, updated standings.
Chris had a,
I
he
had a good week.
Chris had a week.
I mean, I don't want to say anything, get cocky,
Don't
and
jinx
then
it.
It just
Jinx
kind of
it.
shows you, though, that Chris wins a week and he gets 8 picks right. Shows you how bad the week was.
Okay,
as a whole.
Joey.
Just saying.
Updated standings. I am still in 3rd place with 34. Malik, I'm nipping at your heels. Malik's at 37.
That's what you think.
And then Joey is sitting there at 41, heading into week 5 here. All right, let's jump into the matchups. Starting off, LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. Big game. This is a tough one for me. I'm going to go LA Rams.
I'm riding the Seattle wave. They're playing good.
I think the Rams get it together. Rams win.
Jacksonville at Carolina. Gardner Minshew. Kyle Allen. Give me Gardner Minshew.
I'm going Jacksonville as well.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville's defense is just going to be too good.
I mean, they can throw a ball over a mountain, so
Yeah.
that's what matters. Arizona at Cincinnati. Do the Bengals?
Arizona.
Who gets their win?
I'm gonna say, but it's in Cincinnati.
I'm saying Arizona.
The Bengals seem so deflated right now.
Give me Cincinnati.
But this would be a game they'd win.
Give me
Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. This
Are you going Bengals too?
Yeah. This would be a game Andy Dalton plays amazing.
Joey?
I mean, the
that-
Arizona secondary is really bad,
Terrible.
Joey, who are you picking?
but they still don't have AJ Green.
Yeah.
I'm going with
Although
Arizona.
Tyler Boyd and John Ross have played well,
Yeah, I mean they're solid.
and Eifert has been good too.
All right, Malik. Do either of us go against each other's picks? Atlanta at Houston.
Houston.
I'm picking the Falcons. I think the Falcons get a win here. Too much talent. Houston's been struggling. As I hit my phone off the table. Yeah, I'm gonna go Atlanta.
I think Deshaun has a big game.
Those are two weird teams
Yes.
this year. I'm gonna go Houston as well. They just can't be that bad.
Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Does Crab Legs follow up his game?
The last thing I remember from him being in New Orleans was eating the W in the pregame hype up, and then putting his finger in people's ears trying to irritate them.
I'm picking Tampa Bay.
Listen, man,
He's gotten better each week,
he has.
but he can't really get better
But
than last
that-
week.
That New Orleans secondary
Oh, their defense is
put it
legit.
on Dallas.
Their defense is
Yeah,
legit.
they were really good against Dallas. I'm going New Orleans.
I was really close going with Tampa Bay, but you did bring up the good point about how New Orleans defense was against Dallas.
I think Jameis is going to take some unnecessary chances
But
in this game.
I also think that Tampa Bay's defense is better than you think, and New
Oh, yeah,
Orleans'
they have
offense
a
has
good
been
defense.
struggling. Without
All right, I'm sticking with Tampa Bay.
I think New Orleans gets over 20 points this week, and that'll really help.
Minnesota at the Giants. Give me the G-men. I'm riding the Daniel Jones train, and people are going to go crazy. Jones jerseys are going to continue to fly off the shelf.
I don't think he starts 3-0. I think
Yeah.
Minnesota's coaching staff
There's something
comes
special
out.
about
I
this
think
kid.
Minnesota's coaching staff comes out throwing, and that Giants defense kind of wears down once Dalvin Cook gets going too.
This will be a game that Kirk Cousins can actually throw the ball
Mm-hmm.
because the Giants are just bad, and nobody's been able to stop Dalvin Cook all year. I want the Giants to win, but for picks, I'm going with Minnesota.
Chicago at the Raiders.
Chicago. That Bears defense is way too good. And
Yeah, I'm
Khalil
going
Ma-
Bears.
is this Khalil Mack's first time back in Oakland?
Yeah, I'm going Bears.
All right, that's a sweep.
He might get
Yeah.
4 sacks and stare at Gruden every time he does it.
Jets at the Eagles. I can't even pick my Jets in this one.
Yeah, Eagles.
Clean sweep. I'm giving everybody the Eagles. Joey, you're not picking the Jets.
Play Le'Veon Bell at quarterback, please.
Yeah.
I just want to see it.
Let it happen.
I just want to see it.
Baltimore at Tennessee. I'm going Ravens. They got to bounce back.
Balti-
They got to bounce back.
You mean Buffalo, Tennessee,
Is
or
it-
do you mean Baltimore, Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah. You said
Huh?
that one wrong.
Did
Yeah,
I?
It's Buffalo, Tennessee, or Baltimore, Steelers.
Did I miss a game? It's Buffalo Steelers.
No, it's
Buffalo.
Baltimore. It's Baltimore
Buffalo.
Steelers.
Baltimore Steelers.
Baltimore.
Okay.
Steelers, yes.
And then what's
Buffalo, Tennessee.
Buffalo, Tennessee.
Yeah. For those who aren't watching,
Oh, okay.
Buffalo.
yeah.
I missed that one.
Buffalo versus Tennessee. And Ravens, Steelers.
All right. Let's
Chris,
go Ravens.
Chris had to get the
Steelers.
phone in his face to get things right, but it's okay. We're back.
All right. Ravens Steelers.
Ravens. They get back on track. The Steelers,
Yeah, Ravens.
they beat the
yeah,
Bengals.
Ravens.
So it's 3 straight clean sweeps for us.
Although, no, Ravens.
Will Mason Rudolph or Kyle Allen go 3-0?
And here's our 4th straight clean sweep. Patriots at the Redskins.
man. That. Why hasn't Jay Gruden been fired yet?
upset of the year.
Let's hope it happens the day after this show,
And our 5th
or right after the
our
show.
5th straight clean sweep. Broncos at Chargers.
I don't know if that's a clean sweep.
I'm picking Chargers.
Yeah, with this Bradley Chubb news, I don't know if the defense is going to be.
All right,
as-
pick the Broncos,
Chargers.
Joe.
Joe Flacco, trust man over here. Come on,
The Chargers might try to throw in Melvin Gordon this week.
he's probably going to play his first game.
Is that going to throw things off?
Nah, I don't think so. Austin Eckler's going to get more touches.
I'm going to go with Chargers.
All right. Do we break the streak? Green Bay at Dallas.
This is a
I
good
want
one.
you guys to go first.
I want to pick Dallas because I want Green
I'm
Bay to
going
lose.
Dallas.
Have
Pick
fun.
Green Bay. I mean, it could happen. It's not crazy. Pick
That's why-
Green Bay.
That's why you should have picked first.
I would have picked Dallas.
Come on, Chris.
Exactly.
Do it.
I'm going to take Green Bay because it could go either way. For pick's sake, I need to make up some ground.
Watch Chris go first place again this week.
Wait, we got to go back to Buffalo, Tennessee.
We will.
Okay.
You want to just do that right now?
Sure.
All right, Buffalo, Tennessee.
Buffalo.
Is that Tennessee?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Tennessee.
I'm gonna go Buffalo.
Actually, well, I don't want the clean sweep. I'll go Tennessee.
All right. Colts at Kansas City. Give me Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah, Kansas City. I think the Colts are still banged up.
And then Cleveland at 49ers. I say the Browns
Cleveland.
I think the Browns are
Yeah.
turning it around.
I'm going with the 49ers. 4-0,
I
baby.
like it. I
4-0,
like it.
baby.
All right, so hopefully next week
This is gonna be a weird one. I can just tell this is gonna be a really weird one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
it'll be a fun one.
I feel like one person is gonna get a whole bunch of wins, and the other two are gonna be very,
exactly
very
Perfect.
small.
Good week.
But
Fun week.
you're not gonna be the one with all the wins. I'm just letting you know.
Oh gosh, I'm like, yeah, throw that in there. So yeah, training camp open this week. We're gonna do our big NBA preview show. October 22nd is the tentative plan. We're gonna be recording the show. We're gonna do breaking down each division, breaking down the conferences, our awards for each major award, and then maybe our playoffs and who we think will be the NBA champion. We will have all that October 22nd. So next week, again, another normal show. Next 2 weeks will be a normal show. Of course, we'll touch on anything, maybe touch on some Piston news here and there throughout training camp if anything significant happens. So that's going to do it for the show this week. We'll see you next week, October 8th, for Views from the Sideline. See you guys next time.
Fly, Pelicans, fly.
Congrats, Chris,
Oh, yeah. Congrats.
the man.
Everybody say congrats to Chris. We'll talk about it
is
later.
taken. Ladies, he's taken.
Future episode.
Please, he's taken. He's off
See
the
you
market.
guys next time.
We're going to Cleveland, boys. Cleveland, this is for you.
Oh, no.